Hey y'all, and welcome to today's video. I am going to be ranking 16 palettes for y'all. These are palettes that I have been trying out, testing. Most of these I did a first impression or tutorial video with, something like that, and now I'm here to give you my full thoughts, my full review. Now I'm just letting y'all know these videos are always so hard for me because I have so many that I'm like, but this is a favorite, this is an amazing palette, it deserves to be at the #1 spot. But that's also kind of the fun of these ranking videos, is like, no, you have to put these in order, and that's what we're gonna do. A lot of this ranking is based on like my color preference, my preference in size of palettes, my preference in formulas and textures, things like that. So if something comes to the bottom of the ranking, it's not that it's like a bad palette. If it's a bad palette, I will let you know. But sometimes, well, all the time in these ranking videos, it's my personal preference. So just know that if you see a palette that you're like, Heather, I can't believe you didn't put that at #1, I'm sorry. This is so hard for me. But if you are new here, we're going to have fun. Hey, my name is Heather, and makeup makes me happy. Here at my channel, we don't try to be perfect. We just want to have a good time with our makeup, whatever that means. Shimmer, glitter, ranking eyeshadow palettes, we are here for it. So if that sounds good to you, I do hope that you will subscribe before you leave today, because I upload lots of new videos every single week. But I have 16 palettes to review for y'all. 16 palettes that I have been testing, trying out. I'm ready to rank, so let's jump into it. Okay, I'm gonna pop up numbers on the screen just in case I get like the order wrong, like the numbers wrong, but at the bottom I'm putting Bay Age Opal for October. Listen, it's just because this is a very light pastel palette. I think the formula in here is amazing, very good, but I'm somebody who does like more depth to my shadows. This does have a pressed glitter. I don't like the pressed glitter, but I do think the 6 shadows inside are absolutely beautiful. I also wanted to tell y'all like a way that I've used this palette that I've really enjoyed. I used it with my Jelly Much shadows from ColourPop. So this shade right here, this is the Nightmare Before Christmas ColourPop Shock Jelly Much shadow. It's like this bright pink, and I put this all over the lid and then blended into the crease with this pink shade right here called Positive. And then this shade right here, Opal, I'm trying to move it around. I don't know how well it's gonna show, but this is a duochrome. It's a white to pink duochrome. I used that on the inner corner, and I loved my look that day. Now, I do have swatches and a look up on my channel with this palette, so check it out if you're interested. This, like I said, the formula in here is great. This is a really nice palette, but it's just a pastel palette, and pastel palettes are hard to make it up in the rankings because I like saturation. Okay, next up I put the Fantasy palette from Game Beauty. This actually came out earlier this year. I do have a discount code with Game Beauty right now. Some of Game Beauty I bought myself, and some of it was sent to me. So if I have any discount codes for any of the things I talk about, I will put those down in the description box. I will also link everything I talk about. If you ever choose to use my affiliate codes or shop through my links, thank you so much. But this one's coming in a little lower for the same reason that Opal did. It's just a very light palette. Now this one does go a bit deeper. We have kind of these 2 mid-tone shades right here. Courage and Mage are a little bit deeper than, of course, these pastel shades. I created a look, I think I wore it in one of my judging new makeup videos. This shadow kind of blew me away. Like, you can see it is very light. What you're seeing is how light it is. Like, it's a very light but bright blue, and it's pigmented. Like, when you put it on, it is pigmented. It is this color. Like, the color you see in the pan is the color you are getting on the eyes. I really like that. I think the formulas in here are really nice. This shade right here really complements the rest of the palette if you like a palette that has inner corner shades. but it's ranking a little bit lower because, again, you do have like 4 very pastel shades and then some mid-tone shades. The formula is so nice though. It's just, again, pastel type palettes for me are always going to rank a little bit lower. Okay, next I have the Witching Hour from ColourPop. This is the palette they did in collaboration with Hocus Pocus. Now, Hocus Pocus is one of my favorite movies. I know, y'all hear me say that all the time. This formula is great. This palette has great formulas. I love that we get a mix of mattes and shimmers. It is mostly mattes. I love that we have mattes that correspond with the shimmers. To me, that's kind of like a no-brainer. You don't know what to do? Throw in one of these shades in your outer corner, throw in one of these all over the lid, you're good to go. It's going to be beautiful and easy. I love that we get some neutrals and some color in here. The only reason this is ranking a little bit lower is because it's hard for me not to compare this to the original Hocus Pocus palette that they did last year. That one's just darker and grungier and more me. I actually really like that they went this route for round 2 because round 1 was that darker, deeper, earthier toned color story. So I like that they had more fun with it. They pulled more like whimsical colors from the movie. For this one, like, I still see the inspiration totally. It's just coming in a little bit lower. Some of the other palettes, I just feel like the color story is a little more fun. But listen, I've worn this palette a lot. I think I even have maybe an Instagram tutorial up with this too. I do lots of tutorials over on my Instagram, so if you're not following me there, make sure you are, because I'll do like quick eye looks. But I really like the packaging of this one. It's so, listen, I want to be honest, I did not try, I've got a hair in my mouth. I got a hair in my mouth. Okay, I did not try a bad palette recently. These are all good palettes. So listen, they're all great palettes. I'm going to give these all good reviews, but I had to put these in some type of order. And I don't want to like bash a palette just because I have to bash a palette, just because I feel like it has to be like the worst palette to the best palette. Like, these are all great palettes, but some of them are just more me than others. This is a long video. I hope y'all brought some water, a snack. Listen, I don't like water. I'm drinking some like pineapple flavored water and I love it. Okay, next I'm putting the Game Beauty Adventure palette. Again, super cool packaging. This one, I like green. You can tell, right? You can tell I like green. It's my favorite color. It just makes me think of outside, and I love outside. This one is beautiful. Again, we have that very mid-tone theme. There's not a lot of darkness in this palette. Now, this shade right here, amazing. I created a green eye look with this palette. I immediately started video chatting my friends and I was like, listen, you have to try the greens in this palette. This shade Maze is beautiful, but this shade right here, Stealth, that's like a duochrome green, stunning. The purple's beautiful, the yellows and orange. Like, this is a beautiful palette. The only reason it's coming in a little bit lower, again, is because I do like palettes that go light to very dark. But this is a beautiful palette. The packaging is so cute. The whole theme of Game Beauty, I think, is adorable. Okay. Here it starts to get even harder. Like, the higher we get, the more I'm like, oh, it's so hard. But I had to rank Age of Opulence. I did a video, I think 3 looks with this palette. Now, I've already said I hate the packaging. I hate the packaging of this, but the inside is beautiful. There's a beautiful mirror in here, and then the palette itself is gorgeous. This one was kind of the same as the ColourPop Hocus Pocus, to where I was comparing the Hocus Pocus to last year's, and this one I couldn't help but in my mind kind of think like, well, which one do I like better? Do I like this or do I like last year's Book of Magic? Now, Book of Magic isn't available anymore, but I kind of liked Book of Magic better. Formula-wise, the same. If you know the Beauty Bay formula, it's amazing. Mattes are great. Shimmers are great. They're almost like some of the shimmers, they're almost like putty sometimes, but not really putty. Just like very like almost Super Shock-esque. I like that this palette goes very dark. Hello, you got a black shadow, and very light with this bone color over here. You have these beautiful purpley plum shades with teals and blues. There's also a mix of neutrals in here, whereas with last year's version, Book of Magic, you didn't get the neutrals. This is also just a completely different tone. I definitely don't think this is a dupe for Book of Magic at all. They are different palettes. These two blues, stunningly beautiful. This is a really great palette, and it's like $15. Or did they raise the price on this one? Somebody was trying to tell me that it wasn't a price raise. It was like currency conversion thing, but no, on the, because I can shop Beauty Bay US, and the price of this one has gone up, so I don't know if that's due to everything that's going on in the world right now, but anyways, I'm really happy with my purchase. I think aside from the packaging, this is a beautiful palette. Okay, next I have the Margarita palette from GLAMLITE. This one is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful colors. You have these bright pinks, bright blues, bright green. You even have these two that are like very warm tone but still neutral. If you wanted a palette that maybe you can just do a colorful or neutral look, this is beautiful. Again, the reason it didn't rank higher for me is because there's no super dark shade. This color Strawberry is probably the darkest shade. There's a lot of light colors, which is, listen, I'm fine with that, but personal preference, I think that if they had put a matte navy midnight blue in this palette, it would have ranked a little bit higher for me, just because I like to have that contrast of light and dark, because I can picture the looks I could do right over here in this corner with the matte deep navy. But the quality of this is beautiful. The shimmer formula's amazing. I mean, I love GLAMLITE shadows, and they did a great job with that one. It's the same thing with this wine palette. Amazing shimmers, amazing mattes. I really, really, really like the color story of this one. I feel like we have cool tone purples and warm tone purples. I really like this like duo of shades right here, that we have this deep dark purple and we have this color right here. Now I just like the light. Hello, we have this very light shades here, we have the very deep shades, and then they even threw in like this gold, which I think adds a little versatility to the palette. This is definitely a monochromatic palette, so no matter what you do, you're gonna get pinky purpley type of looks, but I like that they added that in. It was just like a little something different. I even like that we have this shade that y'all have told me is called Blurple. It's blue purple and it's beautiful. I also really like the size of these palettes. I feel like they're sleek, they're compact, they're very nice. Okay, next up I have the Jade 42 color palette that was done in collaboration with Beauty Bay. This palette is huge, okay? This one recently went on sale. I posted about it on my community tab, but this is one of my favorite rainbow palettes in my collection. You got all the shades. You want the shades, you can get all the shades here. We go very dark. Hello, we have a black, we have a dark blue, we have dark shimmers that I very much like. We have earthy tones, we have bright neon shades, we have pastels. It's a lot. It's a lot in here. We even have this shade here, Milky Way, that's like it's like a white to pink type of duochrome. We have this silvery blue here. The formula in here is really nice. Again, I like, if you're looking for an all-in-one palette, you're like, I need neutrals and color. This is going to give you the rainbow, and it's also going to give you lots of neutrally tones, so that if you're somebody who doesn't like to wear color to work, I understand. I personally wear color to work, but I know that's not for everybody. So here you can have the colors that you can play with when you want to play with color, and you also have those neutrals that you may need. So this is a beautiful formula. I felt like the price point on this was really good. I mean, This is a huge palette. I do like the packaging on this one. I know I bashed the packaging of the Age of Opulence, but this packaging is really nice. I like this. I'm not an astrology person. Like, I don't care about astrology. I know that's something that Jade likes though, because that's kind of a theme in here. But I do think, like, I love space. I love stars. So I think this is just really pretty. It's kind of glittery, sparkly, it's raised. It's just, I like this packaging. I feel like it's elevated. Okay, next I'm going to put the palette that I have on my eyes today. This is the GLAMLITE Dirty Martini palette. Y'all kept telling me, like, Heather, get this palette, you love green, get this palette. You are not wrong. I love green and I really like this palette. I know this is a monochromatic palette, but I feel like in the monochromatic theme, you get options, which I like, because you have this kind of like teal green that has like a lagoon blue undertone to it, if you know what I mean. You have these olives that I think are perfect. You have more of like, this is a brown with a green undertone that I love. I love that the shimmers are kind of eclectic. This is a duochrome. This I have on my inner corner. It's like a green to gold shift. You have this one too that's like a green brown silvery shade that's very special. The shimmers in here pack intense sparkle. In these GLAMLITE palettes, I really like that there are metallics and shimmers and mattes and duochromes and intense sparkly shades. Like, they're giving different formulas. I really appreciate that. I like the elevation. I think this is beautiful. I also like this big pop of bright green. These GLAMLITE palettes that are in this format, I do have a video up, 7 looks. A look with each of them and then a look combining them. Check it out if you're curious at all. Okay, next, it gets harder and harder as we go, but I love this Nightmare Before Christmas and ColourPop palette. This is a great palette. The color story is so interesting to me. Even if this was not Nightmare Before Christmas themed, I would have bought this because the color story is just intriguing. I love the top row of neutral cool tones. I think they're very, very interesting shades. And then we have this row of crazy cool metallics that I think are really fun. Like this pink, this kind of blue-brown duochrome, this blue-purple shade. We have this matte black with the sparkle that I love. And then we have 3 bold mattes. This is a fun palette. The packaging to me is 10 out of 10 as well. Like, it's very cute and beautiful and fun. It feels nice and weighty, but the color story speaks to me. It speaks to me. It's grungy and bright at the same time, which I think is so fun. And maybe that's what pulls me in, is like seeing these cool tones paired with these like neon pinks and oranges. I just think it's really fun. It's really like just an interesting color story. I've enjoyed playing with this a lot, really the entire collection. I'll review the other products for y'all later on, but as far as the palette goes, if you were wondering if this is really good ColourPop quality, it most definitely is. Next up, I'm putting the Disney Princess Cinderella and Sigma palette. This is gorgeous. I feel like I've done so many looks with this, both on YouTube and on Instagram, and just when I'm not filming. This is a beautiful palette. This is a beautiful take on Disney. First of all, the outer packaging, gorgeous. Let's just look at this, okay? We have this mix of mattes, and I'll tell you, this is very pleasing to me that it goes matte, matte, matte. Like, see how it's staggered with staggered shimmers in between? The imprints on the shimmery metallic-y shades were very pretty too. Like, the embossing, beautiful. This performs really well. I like the Sigma eyeshadow formula. I have a few of their palettes, Enchanted and Cor de Rosa, Untamed. Like, I have several of their palettes in this format, and I really, really enjoy them. The mattes in here are great. Like, this quad right here, create a neutral look, beautiful, out the door, you're good to go in a few minutes. I also love that we have this matte green, matte blue, and matte purples. stunning. Now the shimmers in here are something also really special. I'm kind of moving it around for y'all. Of course I have a video up swatching, everything like that. But Fantasy has a lot of intense sparkle that I really like. I really like sparkle. I think it's fun. The same with Bippity Boppity Boo. Like there is glitter, but in a good way. It's like shimmery sparkly where you're like, wow, it really catches the eye. And then there are also these intense metallics. This is not like a shimmery sparkly shade, but it's a beautiful metallic. And same thing with this one. Also the same thing with the gold. But the shades that they chose to make the sparkles were so thought out. I also loved that it came with a brush. That brush is dirty because I use it. I don't keep it in my palette. I keep it out so I can use it because I love my Sigma brushes. But this is just a beautiful color story. I feel like it was a fun take on Cinderella too. Sometimes with the Disney collabs, they can be a little too on the nose to where it's like, you know, they're trying to just take that one character and make it almost a little bit too cartoony, which don't get me wrong, that can be fun. But this I feel like is elevated Cinderella. Like this is grown up, let's enjoy makeup inspired by the movie type of vibes. We are in the top 5, and if you think this is not getting harder and harder for me as we go, you would be wrong. This is getting harder and harder and harder. But I'm ranking the Witching Hour from Alien Cosmetics. Love the packaging. Love everything about this palette. Amazing formulas. I like that the pans are huge and magnetic. So if you want to pop these out and do a custom palette, you can do it. I love the color story, like the purple, the green, the kind of strawberry type shade, the neutral, the oranges, like it's just so beautiful. This is a mostly matte palette. It's a 9-pan palette with 3 shimmery shades. Very beautiful. I did create 2 looks here on my channel with this palette. I think it's so nice. I love the mirror in here. I love just everything about it. Alien Cosmetics really does something special with their color stories. I feel like you can just see the passion behind their formulas. This one, again, it's just, it's so beautiful, and it's to the point where it's like anything Alien Cosmetic comes out with, like I want it. Next up, I have the Pat McGrath Labs Mothership Mega Celestial Odyssey Artistry Palette. Woo, that's a mouthful. This is the second time Pat McGrath has come out with a big palette like this. This is mostly shimmer shades. You only have 4 mattes, but it's ranking so high up because the shimmers are so good. The shimmers are so good. Now for me, I can create complete looks with this palette, but I'm mainly mixing it with other palettes. Like I'm grabbing mattes from other palettes and I'm mixing in with these beautiful, intense shimmers. This is so nice. My favorite shades are probably this one right here. This one for sure. Like this one for sure. It's like a black base with lots of different color shimmer to it. This blue right here is gorgeous. This green and then this icy lavender are very stunning, very special. And then we have a lot of neutral, I don't want to say toned down shimmers because they do pack a punch, but as far as shade goes, they're more toned down than, of course, the blacks and the blues. I just think this one's really pretty. I like the layout of this. I could do without her logo in the center and get an extra shadow instead, but I think this is beautiful, really nice. I like the red and gold packaging. I think it screams holiday and I really enjoy it. Coming in at number 3, I have the Vampirism palette from Jolie Beauty. This is so pretty. Jolie Beauty is a indie brand, I believe, that's based in the UK. I ordered this straight from their site. I actually pre-ordered this. Listen, this is a me type of color story. I love the grungy browns. I love the reds. I love everything, okay? I love everything. I love the matte black. I love that we get like this bright white. We have a multi-chrome here, this one as well. In the video I posted doing looks with this palette, I really show how the multi-chromes shift. This palette does have 2 pressed glitters, but I don't hate it. Their pressed glitters I think are pretty nice, whereas some brands, their pressed glitters are pure trash. Jolie Beauty makes nice pressed glitters in my opinion. I like the options that we get in this palette. It's a big palette. Oh, it's a big palette. Yes, it is. But I love it. I love that we can do like purpley vibes. I love that we can do like fall colors. Like, doesn't this just look like dead fall leaves that are changing colors? I love it. I love the grungy, cool tone neutrals. Everything. This palette definitely could have been at the #1 spot. It's that good. It's so hard to rank, y'all. I even keep the sleeve for this one. It's so hard to rank palettes because so many I'm like, but no, but you're my favorite. But that's also the beauty of these rankings, right? #2 goes to Chocolate Martini from GLAMLITE. This palette is neutrals that I love. When I'm going all neutral, I want interesting formulas and textures, finishes. I want it, okay? That's how you're going to draw me into neutrals. This palette does that. We have this beautiful white, yellow, gold duochrome shift. We have neutrals that are warm toned. We have pinky neutrals. We have this blue silver that was an unexpected pop in here. These two golds may look a bit similar in the pan, but they're actually really different. I love that we have this very deep brown that almost has a red purple undertone. I love that we just, I just love everything. I love that we have this like penny copper shade. Like, it's just so different. Like, this shade and this shade, they're creating two different looks. I like neutrals with a twist. This is neutrals with a twist. The formula, amazing. Dusty and I actually got to go to like a holiday dinner recently. It was really nice, and I pulled out this palette. I just did a couple of mattes in the crease, like one matte in the crease, one matte in the outer crease to deepen up, a shimmer all over the lid, smoked out the lower lash line, tons of mascara. We were out the door, and I felt so great. Like, I just felt like the look was so beautiful and subtly, effortlessly glam. You know those looks when you're like, oh my gosh, she looks so fabulous, but she also looks like she didn't try very hard. That's me. Like, kind of messy and chaotic, but also like, wow, that's really elevated. That's what this palette, like, lets me create those looks. I know that doesn't make sense, but in my head, it's making all the sense. #1 goes to Lunar Beauty Moonspell Volume 2. I have actually had to tell myself, stop using that palette. You have other things to review. I posted 2 looks here on YouTube. I posted 2 looks over on Instagram. Packaging, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. And then we open the inside. Beautiful. Stunning. Beautiful. I love the theme. I already said that. I'm going to quit about the theme. Heather, we get it. You love the theme. We get it. You love the theme. Let me say it one last time so I feel better. I love the theme. This black with the sparkle, gorgeous. This row right here, magic. Magic. Especially Agatha and Luna. So sparkly. Spray your brush a little bit. Love. Put a glitter base underneath. Love it even more. Stunning. Zelda, beautiful. I love that this palette has some kind of light colors like this that I can throw in the crease with one of these on the lid, throw on mascara, I'm out the door, I can wear it to the hospital to work, whatever. And I love that we have a red. I love this red. I can go intense. I can be like, the red is here. I love that I have the purple. It's just beautiful. So we have these neutrally tones while also having intense colors that I love, while having very dark shades and very light shades. I love this. I love everything about this. I have used every shade multiple times now, and I can say the quality is amazing. The looks I create, I love everything about this. I love, and as hard as it is to rank palettes, like just sitting down, I was immediately like, okay, Moonspell, it's the #1. It's the one I have to tell myself to stop playing with. Now, I would like to know, are you shocked? Did you see any of these rankings and think, oh, What? You're crazy? Let me know. What was your #1 palette this month? Even if you didn't buy any new makeup, it doesn't have to be something new. Did you look through the palettes that you have? Were you reaching for one palette more than all your other palettes? Did one of your palettes inspire you? Please let me know. I am never doing my videos to encourage you to shop. Never, never, never. Shop your stash. Now, if there's one of these palettes that you were interested in buying but you wanted a review of, I do hope this video was very helpful to you. I do want to tell you what else is on my face because I have a lot of makeup on. I'm wearing my Sigma Hopeless Romantic Lashes. I am wearing GLAMLITE Rum Liquid Lipstick. I'm wearing Lunar Beauty Starlight Lip Gloss. I am wearing Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the shade Deep. I am wearing my Melt Cream Blush Light in the shade Sundown. It's so messy. I'm wearing the highlighter from ODEN'S. This is Veil of Future? Veil of Future? Yes, Veil of Future. I am wearing my Smashbox Studio Skin Full Coverage Foundation, and I am in the shade 3.2. And ABH Magic Touch Concealer. That is what I have on. If there were any palettes that you're like, hey, wait, you didn't talk about those, check. Maybe I talked about them last month, or they may be coming up in a future video because I really don't like to rank palettes until I have my full, complete thoughts, and then I will rank them for y'all. But I don't know if we'll have another ranking video until I rank all of my palettes of 2021. I will be doing a yearly ranking video, and maybe some of the spots these have will change. We will see. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed hearing my rambling crazy thoughts, and I will see you very soon in another video. Bye!